the natural enthusiasm and exuberance within the structure of what it is you're trying to do, I thought was massive. I think it's most epitomised by Szoboszlai over the course of the game, who runs himself into the ground, but he's part of two sweetly worked goals. Him and Salah both end up with a goal and an assist. But the pair of them, whilst, in inverted commas, Liverpool made it look easy, the graft, the determination, the hunger, just the sheer ground coverage the pair of them do. I think Szoboszlai a little bit more so, but they are both absolutely all in. It's not as simple as we've done our bit scoring and setting up. No. They did their bit for the entirety of the match. And as I say, it was epitomised to me by Szoboszlai just hitting the deck when the final whistle went.
But I think that stems from belief in what you're doing as well. I think, to have enthusiasm towards the game plan, if you want, or the system or whatever, stems from the belief that you've got in it. Like, I watched Man United recently I think it was against Everton actually, and they're occupying a certain system at the moment, but because they can't get wins in it, the system's to blame, yes, at times, but the actual execution of certain actions and things like that, if you're like 2 seconds late because you don't really believe that you're going to win the ball or whatever, like it'll all crumbles from there. So I think what Slot's been doing, I think might have been Robbo who said after the game that he tweaks our role for every single game. Yeah. And if over the course of a season you're doing them tweaks every single game, we've lost once all season, and that was against Forest in the Premier League. So it gets to a point where you're just really, really enthusiastic about what you're doing, and that shows in the application on the pitch. And you mentioned McAllister there and Szoboszlai, 2 players who are, supremely technical, and we signed them to be that, I think. But the actual industry on the opposite end of the ball is unbelievable to me. I think McAllister, I just love McAllister's willingness to put a foot in. He's not the biggest, he's not the quickest, but he comes away with a black eye and that, and he's always covered in mud and that, isn't he? And Szoboszlai, shatter just watching him. Like, he's absolute marathon man, mate. He's covers some serious ground, and he's done that now, I think. Is it 4 games in a row?
Yeah. 4
90s in a row. Unbelievable. Robertson as well, by the way. I went into the game with Robertson thinking, like, another 90 for Robbo, this is away at the Etihad.
Savino was a good player, etc.
I thought Savino was good, by the way, on the day. But they've emptied the tank over the course of the past few days. And I know everyone had a bit of a wobble after Villa, because Villa Park's a tough place to go, Champions League team, mate. So they've properly emptied the tank, and 2 decent results there, and crucially widened the gap to Arsenal. So deserve massive credit. Yeah,
it's worth, on a couple of them. I want to focus on Szoboszlai for now, Mo, but I'm pleased Josh mentioned Robertson, who I thought was excellent in terms of the fact that you've got to accept you're not going to win your duel every single time against a player with that much technical ability. So what's your next move? What's the next thing you're doing? But what Szoboszlai does in terms of just repeatedly exploding out of the shape, getting back into the shape, closing this passing lane, closing that passing lane. It's not just an act of the running. Josh is right to pick up the running, but it's the constant thought. He's running to be in the right place. He's not just running for running's sake.
No. And he's affecting the game, affecting the opponents, because they are now less likely to try and play a certain ball because they think, well, no, he can get there, he can block it. So you saw Man City become a little bit more safe with a lot of their passing. They weren't trying to break the lines as much because he was just a marauding force everywhere. And I think that's the really kind of underrated part of how he does approach the game, because it really does change how the opponent views what is possible. And when you've got someone who can basically do the work of 2 men in that kind of pressing way, I do think it really does help what you're trying to do at the other end. And obviously with Szoboszlai, the knock on him has been for a lot of the season, well, he's great at all that kind of stuff, but
where's the end product?
Yeah. And I mean, I think that he has conclusively answered that question. And I just think that the way that he took his goal, it was another one of those situations where he was in full control. He knew exactly what he wanted to do before the ball got to him, and he executed it perfectly. And yes, at Villa Park, there were some people saying he probably should have shot when he passed to Nunes and all those kind of things. But he didn't let that affect him in the next game. He knows the quality he's got. We've seen it for Hungary, we've seen it for RB Leipzig. This is a guy who can score lots of goals. He has not only a great shot, but he's got a good appreciation for a finish. And we saw it here. And Obviously the set piece goal there was something that they worked on, and I love the fact that that's something else we've been asking for a long time. Can we do a set piece, lads? Can we do something different? Like, and the funniest thing about that is that just before they took that, I saw that Rico Lewis was marking Virgil van Dijk.
I saw that, yeah.
And I was just like, what? Like, come on. Surely we've just got to put the ball in and Virgil could absolutely munch this kid. But no, they had other ideas.
The manager, Mike, he makes a big call on shape. It goes further than what he does against Villa with it, but it makes you sort of think, whether you're half working on it for Villa with this in mind. But it's very clearly, and often you don't like the numbers, and I'm fine with people not liking the numbers, especially when I'm going to do this. Very clearly 4-2-4-0 throughout. No one on the last line, 4 exploding into the space in the line behind. But it was interesting how fully committed they were to that, and even at times it became 5 on the defensive line because McAllister would drop in, which allowed Virgil to sort of come across, because Konate had come across to back Trent up in his duel with Doku, and it just felt as though Liverpool was so fluent in terms of how they were going to defend against Manchester City all the way through. They had such a clear idea of what it was they were going to do throughout the game.
Yeah, I think if we think back to Brighton in the Cup when we played them after the league,
yeah,
and I think he does something similar, if not pretty much the exact same, with Szoboszlai and Jones in the 4-2-4. And I seen it yesterday, thinking, I wonder if it's that, and it was, but 10 times better, more drilled,
so compact.
Yeah, so compact. But everyone knew where they were. I'm pretty sure everyone could have closed their eyes and gone, "Where's McAllister now?
Yeah.
He's there. Where's Salah now? He's there. Where's Szoboszlai now? There." And they were everyone on that pitch, across the pitch, not just Robertson knowing where his centre half is or his winger. He would have known where the centre midfielders were, or if there's a switch on tomorrow or Trent. I think that's the biggest thing about this. We've got this flexibility now, and it's immense credit to the players and the manager. They work on these things time and time again, obviously, and we've got this sort of other way of playing now. We've seen it adapt, haven't we, with the 4-3-3 and going Diaz down the middle. We've had Nunes at times being the 9, or Jota when he's being fit. Gakpo off the left, or Salah off the right. Seems like a fixed roles now that them two have got. I don't think he's ever seen much interest of throwing Mo down the middle, when everyone is always thinking, I'll move Mo inside here. He just goes, nah. That's the 4-2-4. We do it this way, and I just you can't fault anyone. There is exceptional performances in that last night, but everyone is at least a 7.